Hey, this is Ciderhelm, and welcome back to Turning Point, the show where we analyze game-winning plays by the pros. Today we're looking at two teams who are neck and neck with each other. Both teams are pushed up to the enemy nexus and are effectively tied in both gold and kills. Blue team has been pushing hard for the nexus, attempting to take it down even as purple team's members are clearly going to be able to defend it. Now, check this out. Purple team has 7 wards in their bottom jungle, giving them almost complete vision over the area. Now this is because in addition to Zyra's purchased wards, both her and Sin have ruby sightstones that they've been using for extensive map vision. I thought this is interesting because it really is rare to see this many wards placed in such close proximity in matches, especially away from Baron Nashor. But these wards did ultimately pay off in giving huge warning on aggression and preventing blue team from easily backing off from their attempt on the Nexus. Let's jump into our team fight, which begins as blue team has engaged on Baron Nashor. Rumble drops his ultimate into the Baron pit, and blue team decides to fall back. Let's look at positioning really quick. Both teams are fairly well clumped together, and blue team is going to head into the open area of the jungle near the blue golem. Note that Zac is actually headed upriver a bit, and he's going to use his jump cooldown to get over the wall. Purple team is going to pursue blue team into the jungle, but Quinn has gone into bird form and will quickly flank completely behind the blue team, ideally giving her an opportunity to engage against softer targets. The chase continues with Ezreal being slowed. Sin attempts to tag Ezreal for a follow-up dash, but Ezreal blinks too quickly. Now the engagement begins. This initiation goes in blue team's favor as Rumble has already used his ultimate at the Baron pit, leaving Zyra's Stranglethorns as their only AoE ultimate. On the flip side, blue team Sona has landed her ultimate squarely across purple team, and this is being followed up by Hecarim's ultimate, which will also land on these 4 members of purple team. They are taking a lot of crowd control. Only Sona is hit by Zyra's Stranglethorns. Quinn is now in range to engage blue team, and she's going to start by focusing Ezreal. But despite being full health going against damaged opponents, she must worry about being surrounded by 3 enemies while her team is still locked down in the rear. Speaking of this, Jace is about to knock Hecarim away from the middle of them to help his team move in. And coincidentally, this is the direction Hecarim now wants to go anyway, as he is going to move in on Quinn. There's one more surprise. Zac is about to jump in with his ultimate, and while this is off screen, he will continue locking down the players who are normally supposed to be purple team's front line. This means 3 full AoE crowd control ultimates will have disrupted the purple team. Sin has finally broken out of the disruption, and he's managed to land his Q on Sona. This means he will be able to follow up with a dash onto her. Unfortunately, Quinn is not going to be so lucky. With her team delayed, as well as good support from Sona and a well-timed barrier from Ezreal, she was not able to get any kind of edge and is now falling back. Her death at this point is inevitable. Jace brings down Ezreal before being dropped by Kha'Zix. This is immediately followed up with Sona's death. And Kha'Zix has just knocked out Rumble. As an assassin, Kha'Zix will bring the most value to his team by destroying vulnerable targets, either because they're separated from their allies, as was the case with Quinn, or because they're low enough on health that they can be bursted down. In a 1v1 matchup, Jace is built to go toe-to-toe with Kha'Zix, especially with his purchase of the Guardian Angel. Anytime you're going against an assassin, Guardian Angel should be considered a great item on damage dealers, and though this isn't the case in this match, it's even more important against double assassin teams. But the way that this team fight played out has played out almost perfectly for Kha'Zix. He's never been particularly vulnerable, and he's been able to knock out one opponent at a time, each of these giving him a reset on his jump. Even with Guardian Angel, Jace cannot possibly survive, and Sin must now consider his escape options. But escape is not going to be possible, as a flash and one final jump reset allow Kha'Zix to clean up. It's worth looking back at this team fight. The outcome of the fight and ultimately the game really wasn't about one team having good players and the other team having bad players. One of the things I regularly emphasize in my Don't Feed Champion spotlights is the importance of not grouping up in tight jungle corridors when a champion brings strong zone control. This can be in the form of AoE damage or AoE crowd controls, but in this game it was a huge amount of both coming from the blue team. Purple team lost this game by a mass chain of crowd controls and damage, which incidentally left Quinn in an awful position. What could have been an effective flank to prevent blue team's escape totally turned around on them. Both teams did a genuinely good job throughout the match, but in the end, one team made a core mistake. Thanks for watching this episode of Turning Point. Let me know in the comments below who your favorite AoE champions are and why.